Now, you probably don't know this about me, but
I love free shit.
my parents tried to kick me out after that shit I did with the squirrels, but I still found a way to live here rent-free. I've also come up with a solution to entirely stop having to pay for food. It turns out that you just leave bowls full of this yummy, nutritious stuff around the house every day, twice a day. And that is exactly why when I heard that Destiny 2 was going free to play, I knew I had to make a video about it. And then I forgot for 3.5 years. And you're probably wondering why I made a Destiny video in the year of our Lord 2024. Well, like most addictions, I had a random urge to play, but I couldn't justify dumping even more time into this godforsaken game and at least not getting a video out of it. So I did the most rational and sensical thing I could think of. I ignored the account that had $200 worth of microtransactions and DLCs, and instead chose to create a brand new Steam account that is going to get constantly paywalled and has no actual content. Just so I can answer this question, nobody was asking. Now, a little bit of an explanation. I like to goon in game just as much as the next guy, but even I feel like I've barely touched the surface of the content Destiny 2 has to offer.
Fuck, I'm really worried I'm not gonna understand the content and or subjects in this video because I haven't played the game yet.
If you're watching this video and have never played Destiny 2 and are worried that you're not going to understand the content and subjects talked about in the video, don't stress at all.
Oh, thank God.
Because I have 240 hours of playtime. That's 10 days. 10 days of my life I will never get back. 10 days I will wish I had to spend with my family while I'm on my deathbed. And even after those 10 days, I still have no idea how half of this shit even works or what it does. I don't know what aspects or fragments are good and what to choose. I enjoy wholes, not fragments. And I mean holes with a WH. I'm a gamer. I don't get the kind of holes that have just an H. Unless we count that one time with my best friend from high school, but I would prefer if we pretend like that didn't happen. But yeah, my point is, don't worry if you know nothing about Destiny and its franchise, because that's kind of the whole point of this new light thing they keep trying to push. It's so they can breathe some new life into this fucking decade-old franchise with a player base more toxic than radioactive goo. Alright, I think I can actually, start playing the game now. Oh. Just kidding. I guess I'll just sit here and wait a couple hours for this to download. If you're on mobile, you can double tap the right side of your screen twice to skip 10 seconds. And if you're on computer, you can hit the right arrow key twice. And it should bring you 10 seconds into the future now. If you're still watching, it's either because you really enjoy this video, are very lazy, or you're on TV and couldn't find the remote in time. Either way, subscribe. Fucking finally. Now, I want to go into this from the perspective of a new player who has never touched this game a day in their life. So, you finally finished the 110 gigabyte download, and you're excited to launch this highly anticipated, awesome MMO action first-person shooter. But between the time you press start on the main menu and get to the class selection screen, you go through, and I am not exaggerating here, I will show them on screen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 separate pop-ups. 7! That is more ads than I experienced trying to download all this RAM. By the way, my CPU now idles at 70% usage, and I don't know how to fix it. 2 of them attempt to completely redirect you to the Bungie website, and the other one is just an ad for their microtransactions, which, if you're a new player, would have no idea even exist or how to buy them. And finally, after all of that bullshit, you get to choose your class. You know, that thing in the game that kind of forms your perception on what your abilities are and how you deal damage, how some of the mechanics work, and what items you can and can't choose. Yeah, so a new player isn't going to know any of that in the slightest. In fact, the only description they get for the class is a vague sentence at the bottom of the screen. That's all the information you get. So, if you're getting into Destiny after watching this video, just keep in mind, that it's going to take about 12 hours to fully unlock every subclass and its subsequent fragments. So maybe just go watch a YouTube video before randomly choosing one of the three. Because I'm not going to explain it. I've played exclusively Hunter since 2015, and I'm not changing that now. So once you start as a new light account, you see the brand new introduction that the Destiny 2 devs made just for you, you precious little kitten. This introduction cinematic and its subsequent new light questline is a great way to introduce new players to the franchise. And how did they do this, you ask? Well, they just did the same exact thing they did in 2014 with the first game, which makes sense, I guess, because the original introduction to Destiny 2 was supposed to be a continuation of your Guardian story from the first game. So yeah, no shit, a new player wouldn't have that or understand what the fuck is going on around them. Give me about 30 seconds so I can fix all of this. But I want you to remember, this is a universe where the majority of the solar system has been colonized by humans. And it's stated that ghosts have searched for the right guardians for centuries. So Bungie had this awesome opportunity where they could absolutely fucking dunk on their previous game's introduction and have an awesome story for these new guardians, where you awaken 3 centuries after the collapse on some random research base on the moon and need to use the small firearms scattered around the compound and your newly acquired light powers to fight off whatever enemy faction has colonized the planet and find a ship and escape. But instead of a cool, amazing escape sequence to introduce you to one of the most awesome first-person MMOs I've ever played, which they basically already did in the introduction to the Taken King almost a decade ago, here's Russia. Again, please Bungie, you can be so cool. I've seen you do it. You can be the golden boy again. If you're a brand new player who has never touched any of these games before, yes, this is an adequate introduction. But could you imagine the disappointment if you were a Destiny 1 player who took, for some reason, a casual 4-year break from the franchise, only to come back and do the same exact tutorial in the same location that you did a decade prior? Now, I was hoping that the New Light questline would continue past the Cosmodrome and kind of into the other aspects of the game, because there are some features that even I still don't fully comprehend. Like, what the fuck is a dungeon pass? If I am buying the Witch Queen expansion, why do I have to buy the Witch Queen dungeon pass? Does the words Witch Queen expansion not kind of infer that the Witch Queen dungeon pass would be in the Witch Queen expansion? It's the same name. Why is it 2 separate things? Wait, what's that? Oh. Sorry, I just had to buy the $100 version of the DLC, and then I would have gotten the dungeon pass for free. So you can imagine my disappointment when it only took me 2 hours to complete the entire New Light quest. And that's with me fucking around like a goddamn hooligan.
He sounds like, Grogu from American Dad.
Oh my god, I was so right, it's the same voice
actor.
Now, if you're wondering what the gameplay loop is like for a free-to-play Guardian once they finish that initial quest, I drew a diagram. So, it starts up here. Everyone gets access to the first mission of each expansion. So, you play through that, and then you immediately get paywalled. And then, you go down here, and you play through the first mission activity for that season. And then you immediately get paywalled. And then you return to next expansion's first mission, and then you immediately get paywalled. And then you go to the season prior, get paywalled, and the world goes around and around like that for about 10 hours or so until you run out of content. But hey, you can also do these really fun exotic quests that give you guns that nobody has used since the first year of the game. Like this one, which only works when you're fighting enemies that are hitting you with arc damage. Or this one, which just charges your melee faster. Or these really fun subclass quests where you just use your subclass a lot on a bunch of different enemies, and it gives you a piece of exotic gear at the end. But if you're like every other PvE hunter, you've only used the Void subclass since it came out in 2015 and refuse to switch till the day you die. But hey, you could also do the same 5 strikes that have been out for 7 years. Oh, that doesn't sound like enough? Here's 2 from the first game. And if all of that doesn't sound riveting enough, you have access to 3 whole raids. And don't ask, yes, they are also from the first game. And good luck finding any raid groups. And if you're thinking about using an LFG, good luck finding one that's gonna Sherpa you through with no current meta guns or armor. These fuckers will kick you if you have the wrong shaders equipped. Destiny 2 is so incredibly fucking fun and has formed some of my favorite gaming memories. I remember being 16 in my junior year of high school, going through like my first or second breakup, and using this game to absolutely just erase myself from the world and pretend like none of my problems existed. Witch Queen had just came out, and it was one of the best expansions in the entire history of the franchise. And I'm not kidding you guys when I tell you I was pushing 60-hour weeks on this game. I was pulling coal miner trying to support his family in the 1960s kind of hours. I remember the day this game came out. I was in 7th grade, and my dad had secretly gone to GameStop and gotten me the collector's edition, the one that came with the aluminum case and the cool little Cade figurine. And I remember the next day, I had set up my PS4 upstairs so I could play on the big TV, and then waited for everyone to leave. And I was late to school that day because I was so engrossed in defending the tower from the Red Legion's attack. My point is, I want everyone to understand that I really love this game. This is fucking amazing. It will always hold a special place in my heart, but I want everyone to understand that this free-to-play model does not do the game justice in the slightest. It just kind of throws new players who are already kind of confused by the game a bunch of lore they won't understand, some scattered expansion quests, and guns that don't exemplify how absurdly fucking awesome this game's weapons can be. It all just feels very blood-sucking and money-hungry. Every time one of these paywall pop-ups came up, I would add it to my Steam cart, and by the time I ended my playthrough, it was a total of $330. That's fucking ridiculous. So, if you really want to get into Destiny 2, before you even launch the fucking game, just buy the Legacy Collection. Ignore 90% of these paywalls by just going to g2a.com and getting a Steam key for the Legacy Edition. Because these paywalls will destroy any semblance of fun or immersion you get while playing the game. So, what even was the point of Destiny 2 free-to-play? I don't think there was one. I just think Bungie couldn't rationalize having a paid barrier to entry on a game that had $300 worth of microtransactions. And yes, before you comment, I know the Legacy Edition includes the majority of the content that makes up that $300, but during the gameplay, they don't make that known in the slightest. It's not on this main map here, and it's not even in the expansions tab on the Eververse store. This is an awesome game, and you can play it for thousands of fucking hours. I have Steam friends to prove it. This game is not. Subscribe if you enjoyed. Like, means a lot. I hope you guys have an amazing night. And do try the game out. It's very fun. And I shit on it a lot, but if you want to just kind of see what the game is like, try the free-to-play. No one's going to judge you. Peace.